Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys and gals. I'm here to do episode 93 of Dark Shadows for the review. So Elizabeth is on the phone with Richard Gardner. Now, you don't see Richard Gardner in this episode, but he is mentioned. And again, Liz is on the phone with him. Richard is discussing. He and Liz are discussing the arrival of, basically Victoria arriving in Bangor, and she's trying to find out about her past. Elizabeth talks to Roger about Victoria's winters being with Burke. Roger asks if Vicky meeting with Burke is by design. So Roger is making implication here that, hey, what if, basically the question / implication of Roger is, hey, what if Victoria Winters meeting Burke is by design? What if this was all set up by them, going to Bangor? Now, I'll get into that here in a minute. Liz is worried about Victoria spending time with Burke. Let's see. Liz thinks the trip may have been a coincidence. Carolyn is jealous of Vicky and Burke being in Bangor together. Roger is shocked to learn it was David who begged Victoria to stay. So, and he's going to have a conversation with his son about this. Now, so in the very short conversation of Elizabeth and Roger, and I do want to stress this, it's done in the drawing room, that you have this conversation of, Vicky and Burke, but Liz is coming to the realization, okay, I don't believe this is by design. This may just be a coincidence. They're there because she does. I honestly believe this is just Elizabeth remembering conversations she had with Victoria. Like, yeah, I'm not out to get anybody, yada, yada, yada. So Roger asks if David saw Bill Malloy's ghost. Yeah, Roger walks into David's room, and David is drawing, Bill Malloy, trying to draw Bill Malloy's ghost. And that is what prompts that question too. Now you learn here in this episode finally that Roger doesn't believe in ghosts. So David thinks his dad killed Bill Malloy, and he flat out accuses him of it. He says that when Bill Malloy returns, he's going to name his murder. He hopes Bill Malloy returns and names his murder. And I think he'll name you. And Roger slaps David. This here is an episode that people need to watch most, because when you get into who killed Bill Malloy, this is Roger saying he's innocent in every way. I know I don't agree with smacking a kid in the face, but again, this kid did just accuse him of murdering, a man, and Roger says he lost his temper, which I do believe. The slap comes pretty quickly, and it comes because Roger lost his temper, as he's going to say to Liz. So David does tell Liz and Carolyn Roger hit him. Roger admits it. Carolyn phones the Collinsport Hotel, and in his anger, he's still she's angry to still learn that when he's still in Bangor, that Burke is still in Bangor. Sorry. So the locations you get here, the set locations you get here are the drawing room, the foyer, David's room. Liz says they once had a butler named Hanscom, because they're discussing the name B. Hanscom in this episode at Collinwood. She was now, according to Elizabeth, she was either his daughter or his niece. Betty Hanscom was either the butler's daughter or niece. She doesn't remember which exactly. Carolyn is still obsessed with Burke. David is still hates his dad. So you get a lot of confirmation. You still get, in a lot of ways, Dark Shadows was always about rinse and repeat. So you would get a lot of confirmation or a lot of reminders in episodes. Hey, in case you forgot, this is still going on. Liz tells Carolyn that she loved Ned Coulter, and Ned Coulter was in love with her. Carolyn, but she also I think that's one of the lost things. You got to go back and watch this episode about that. Liz also tells that she felt she let Ned Coulter waiting too long. And she reminds Carolyn of Joe, that, hey, you're doing the same thing to Joe that I did to Ned, basically. Carolyn phones Joe Haskell. By her interaction, she has a date. Roger still wants Victoria gone. Roger believes they're trying to read my own scripture. Chicken scratcher. Roger wants Victoria gone. He also tells Liz she should sell the house. That it would be better for everybody, and he would leave. And she says, you can leave. And he says about taking David. She goes, I know that's a bluff. You're more concerned about the money. And he says so. Basically, you have a really interesting ending here with the wondering of what's going to happen with Joe and Carolyn. The Cullens don't exactly know what's going on with Vicky and Burke. They don't know what to make of it. Is there a relationship there or not? The audience knows there really isn't. It's not like they're dating. This episode was written by Francis Swan, directed by John Sedgwick. You guys have a nice day. I'll leave the episode link in the description box. See ya.